In the brutal war for dominance in the skies, two names have reigned unchallenged for years: Boeing and Airbus, the 777X and A350, the ultimate long-haul machines, symbols of Western engineering power. For decades, this rivalry left no room for a third player. But from the east, something unexpected is taking shape. Russia is quietly preparing a challenger, the Il-96-400M, a wide-body jet that dares to stand up to the giants. But how could a design rooted in the Soviet era possibly threaten the world's best? And what makes this new Russian jet so different? Let's find out. To understand the Il-96-400M, we need to rewind to the 1970s. Back then, the Ilyushin Design Bureau unveiled the Il-86, the Soviet Union's first wide-body airliner. It was built for long-haul flights, featuring built-in staircases so it could operate even at remote airports with no jet bridges. A bold idea, but it came with a price. Those staircases took up valuable cargo space. By the late 1980s, the Soviets needed something better. Entered the Il-96-300. It wasn't just a facelift, it was powered by PS-90 engines, marking Russia's first real step toward matching Western efficiency. For the first time, a Russian aircraft could compete, at least on paper, with the likes of Boeing and Airbus. But the dream didn't last. Despite its promise, the Il-96-300 failed commercially. It carried fewer passengers than competitors, burned more fuel, and airlines quickly looked elsewhere. In the early 2000s, Russia tried again, stretching the design into the Il-96-400. More seats, better avionics, longer range. Yet it was still a four-engine jet in a world that had already moved on to twins. Airlines wanted efficiency, not redundancy. The Il-96 faded into the background, used mainly for government transport. For many, the story was over. But history has a strange way of repeating itself. As Western sanctions cut Russia off from foreign aircraft and engines, the country had no choice but to look inward. And so, the Il-96 returned, reborn as the Il-96-400M. This new version isn't just an update, it's a statement. Modernized avionics, extended range, improved fuel economy, and the ambition to reclaim Russia's place in long-haul aviation. But can it actually compete with the A350 and 777X? Every great aircraft begins with its engines. For the Il-96-400M, that heart is the PS-90, Russia's most successful post-Soviet jet engine. When it first appeared in the late 1980s, it was revolutionary for Russian aviation. But times changed. Airlines wanted more efficiency. So Russia upgraded to the PS-90A2, improving fuel burn by around 10%. That might not sound like much, but in aviation, every percent means millions saved. Now, Russia is developing something far more ambitious: the PD-35. This next-generation powerhouse aims to rival the mighty GE-9X of Boeing's 777X, delivering up to 76,000 pounds of thrust. If successful, it won't just power the Il-96, it could redefine Russia's entire aviation industry. But there's a catch. Sanctions mean Russia must build it entirely with domestic components. No Western parts, no shortcuts. If they can pull that off, the PD-35 could become a symbol of true independence. So what's new with the Il-96-400M itself? For starters, it's nearly 10 meters longer than the original, capable of carrying up to 436 passengers in an all-economy layout. That's more than an Airbus A350-1000. Its redesigned wings reduce drag and improve efficiency. While the fuselage has been reshaped to optimize airflow and range, inside, the cabin has been completely reimagined. Wider aisles, bigger overhead bins, and modern in-flight entertainment. On paper, it's impressive. A range of roughly 10,000 kilometers, allowing non-stop long-haul routes. But here's the problem. It's still a four-engine aircraft. In an era dominated by twins, that's a tough sell. For engines mean higher maintenance costs and more fuel consumption. But they also mean safety, particularly over remote or oceanic routes. And Russia's engineers believe that with the PD, the balance could finally shift, recognizing the trend. Russia is already planning a twin-engine version of the Il-96-400M powered by two PD-35s. This could be the real game-changer. Lower emissions, reduced costs, and a chance to stand shoulder to shoulder with Airbus and Boeing. If Russia manages to deliver this aircraft by the 2030s, it could open new markets across Asia, Africa, and Latin America regions hungry for affordable long-haul solutions not tied to Western manufacturers. Beyond that, the PD-35 could power cargo planes, military transports, and future wide-body programs. It's more than an engine, it's the foundation of Russia's aviation comeback. But make no mistake, the road ahead is steep. The PD-35 is still in testing. Full-scale trials haven't yet confirmed if it can truly match the Rolls-Royce Trent XWB or GE9X. Certification will take years, and convincing airlines to trust a new Russian engine won't be easy. Even so, Russia isn't backing down. The Il-96 OOT freighter has already entered service with Skygates, carrying up to 92 tons of cargo, proof that the platform still has life left in it. Step by step, Russia is reviving a legacy many had written off. So, can the Il-96 OOM really challenge the West? Maybe not overnight, but it represents something bigger, a declaration of resilience, a message that even under pressure, Russia is determined to engineer, innovate, and compete. The Il-96 began as a dream in the Soviet era. Today, it's a statement of intent, and tomorrow, it could be the spark that reignites Russia's place among the giants of global aviation. In the fierce world of long-haul aviation, dominance is everything. For decades, Boeing and Airbus have stood as unshakable titans, the 777X and A350 ruling the skies. Defining modern aviation, every major airline chose one or the other. There was simply no room left for a third player. But that's about to change. From deep within Russia's aviation sector, a new machine is rising, one built not just to compete, but to defy the odds. Its name, the Ilyushin Il-96 400M, a wide-body jet with roots in Soviet design and a mission to challenge Western supremacy. At first glance, it sounds impossible. How could an aircraft from a country isolated by sanctions possibly take on the giants of global aviation? Well, that's exactly what makes this story fascinating. To understand how we got here, we have to go back, way back. The year is 1976. The Cold War is in full swing, and the Soviet Union is determined to match every Western innovation. Boeing had the 747, McDonnell Douglas had the DC-10, and Europe had the new Airbus, A300. The Soviets needed their own wide-body, something that could show the world they could go toe-to-toe with the West. That's when the Ilyushin Il-86 took flight. It was big, it was ambitious, and it was different. The aircraft had its own built-in staircases, meaning it didn't need airport equipment to board passengers. A clever solution for remote or undeveloped airfields across the USSR, but it came at a cost. Those staircases ate up cargo space, making the plane less practical for airlines chasing revenue. By the late 1980s, the Soviet aviation industry had learned its lesson. They introduced a new aircraft, the Il-96-300. This one was sleeker, lighter, and powered by new PS908 turbofan engines. The first truly modern Russian engines that could finally compete with Western designs from Rolls-Royce or Pratt & Whitney. For the first time, Russia had a jet that wasn't just functional, it was competitive, but the world had already moved on. Airlines wanted bigger aircraft with lower costs per seat. The Il-96's for engines burned too much fuel. Its limited range and smaller capacity made it a tough sell. Western airlines ignored it completely, and even Russian carriers preferred imported Boeings and Airbuses once the Soviet Union collapsed. Still, Ilyushin didn't give up. In the early 2000s, they stretched the aircraft, upgraded the systems, and launched the Il-96-400. On paper, it was better, more range, more seats, modern avionics. Yet, it couldn't shake off the same problem. For engines in an era obsessed with efficiency, the jet was simply born in the wrong decade. And that could have been the end of the story. Until the world changed, fast forward to today. Russia, facing heavy sanctions, is locked out of Western aircraft technology. Boeing and Airbus stopped delivering planes. Spare parts are harder to come by. And suddenly, Moscow's aviation industry finds itself with no choice but to rebuild from the ground up. That's when the Il-96 made its comeback, reborn as the Il-96-400M, This isn't a simple upgrade. It's a complete re-engineering of an old Soviet icon. The fuselage has been extended by nearly 10 meters, giving it space for up to 436 passengers in a single-class layout. That's even more than the A350-1000. Its wings have been redesigned for better aerodynamics. New materials reduce drag and weight. The avionics suite, once decades behind, now features digital flight systems on par with modern jets, allowing smoother, more precise handling and greater safety. Inside, the cabin has been reimagined: larger overhead bins, wider aisles, quieter engines, and a far more comfortable experience overall. It still uses for engines that instantly puts it at a disadvantage against the world's most efficient twin jets. Boeing and Airbus have proven that 2 engines are enough, safer, cheaper, and more eco-friendly. So why is Russia still sticking to 4? Because for now, it has 2. The existing PS90 engines, while reliable, don't yet have the massive thrust of a twin-engine setup. But that's where the next chapter begins, the PD-35 program. In the fierce competition of wide-body aircraft, the Boeing 777X and Airbus A350 have long been locked in an intense rivalry, dominating the market as the top choices for airlines seeking cutting-edge long-haul jets. This battle seemed to be an exclusive contest between the two Western giants. There was no slot for a third contender. However, Russia has decided to shake up the game with the Il-96 an ambitious aircraft designed to challenge the dominance of Boeing and Airbus. But how exactly will this Russian jet take on its Western rivals? What makes it stand out? Let's find out. To understand the Il-96 we must go back to the 1970s, when the Illusion Il-86, the first wide-body aircraft of Russia, was introduced. It was a breakthrough designed for long-haul flights and featuring unique innovations such as built-in staircases, allowing it to operate at airports with limited infrastructure. However, this also came at the cost of reduced cargo space. By the late 1980s, Russia needed a more competitive aircraft, leading to the birth of the Il-96 This was more than just an upgrade. It featured PS90 turbo engines, marking a major leap forward from older Soviet engines. For the first time, this country had an aircraft with engines that could compete with Western counterparts in terms of performance and fuel efficiency. Despite high expectations for the Il-96 to become the backbone of Russian aviation, it failed to achieve commercial success. Its limited capacity made airlines hesitant as they sought larger aircraft that could carry more passengers and cargo, while offering better operating costs. To address these shortcomings, Russia introduced the Il-96 in the early 2000s, an extended version of the Il-96 featuring aerodynamic improvements, advanced avionics, and upgraded onboard systems. This model could carry more passengers and fly longer distances. Yet, even with these enhancements, the Il-96 struggled to gain traction in the global market, which Boeing and Airbus already dominated. More importantly, airlines had begun shifting towards twin-engine aircraft for better fuel efficiency, making the foreign aircraft less attractive. However, a new chapter unfolded just when it seemed like the story had ended. Recently, driven by Western sanctions and an increased demand for domestically produced aircraft, Russia has decided to revive the Il-96 program, giving rise to the Il-96 an upgraded version with extended range, improved fuel efficiency, and modernized systems. This is not just a technical advancement, but a bold move by Russia to reclaim its position in the wide-body aircraft market. Will this new Russian variant be able to change the game, or will it follow the fate of its predecessors? Let's see the details. Every aircraft needs a powerful and reliable engine. For the Il-96 that role belongs to the PS90. But hold on, you're still here. That's epic. We're on a mission to hit 50,000 subscribers. And guess what? You can be a part of it. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Let's make this milestone happen together. Huge thanks. Introduced in the late 1980s, the PS9A was a gamaker for Russian aviation. It was Russia's first engine capable of competing with Western counterparts, like the Rolls-Royce RB211 and Pratt & Whitney PW4000 Quieter. more fuel-efficient, and compliant with international emissions and noise regulations. It marked a significant leap beyond its Soviet-era predecessors. But even with these advancements, the PS9A wasn't enough to close the gap with Western engines. Airlines demanded even greater fuel efficiency to lower operational costs. Russia responded with the PS9A2, an upgraded version featuring advanced materials, improved fuel consumption, and lower maintenance costs. Compared to the original PS9A, the A2 variant delivers around 10% better fuel efficiency. That might not sound like much, but in aviation, even a 1% fuel savings can translate into millions of dollars annually. Not only that, this country is developing the PD-35, a next-generation powerhouse with up to 76,000 pounds of thrust, designed to rival Boeing 777X's, G9X to cut fuel, burn, emissions, and maintenance costs. However, the biggest challenge lies in developing this engine without relying on foreign components. A consequence of sanctions. If successful, the PD-35 won't just strengthen Russia's aviation independence, it could become a major contender in the global engine market. Moreover, the Il-9600M is not just an extended version of the Il-9600, it represents a significant leap in design and technology. With an increased length of nearly 10 meters, this aircraft can accommodate up to 436 passengers in an all-economy configuration, optimizing operational efficiency and helping airlines reduce costs per flight. Aerodynamically, the variant 400 meters features improved wings that reduce drag, enhance flight performance, and improve fuel efficiency. The fuselage has also been redesigned to optimize airflow, extending range and lowering operating expenses. An essential factor for long-haul routes, the aircraft's avionics have undergone significant upgrades. Advanced electronic flight systems allow pilots to control the aircraft more easily and precisely, while modern navigation and communication systems ensure stable operations in all weather conditions. Inside the cabin, the aircraft prioritizes passenger comfort with a spacious interior, larger overhead storage compartments, and an upgraded in-flight entertainment system. Airlines can also customize seating arrangements to cater to different customer segments, from economy class to premium business class. With these enhancements, it is not just a wide-body aircraft, but a strategic choice in the evolving aviation market. However, is that enough to be a guess? When it comes to performance, the Il-9600M boasts an impressive range of approximately 10,000 kilometers, making it well-suited for long-haul international routes. However, a critical question arises. Is a foreign design still a viable choice in an era where the aviation industry is shifting towards more fuel-efficient twin-engine aircraft? There is an undeniable advantage, for engines provide enhanced safety, particularly on routes over remote areas or vast oceans where emergency landing options are limited. This makes the aircraft a compelling choice for specific operations. However, the drawbacks are equally apparent: higher maintenance costs and greater fuel consumption compared to twin-engine competitors, like the Boeing 777X and Airbus A350-1000, and this is the reason for a Gamaker giving birth. Recognizing this challenge, Russia is exploring the possibility of developing a twin-engine version of the variant, 400M, powered by the next-generation PD-35 engine. This upgrade could significantly boost efficiency while lowering operating costs, positioning the aircraft as a more competitive alternative in the global market. Lower fuel consumption translates to reduced carbon emissions, a crucial factor as the world becomes increasingly focused on environmental sustainability. Beyond economic and ecological benefits, geopolitical considerations also play a role. Western sanctions have restricted Russia's access to foreign-built aircraft and engines, making domestic solutions like the PD-35 more vital than ever. By investing in indigenous propulsion technology, this country not only ensures the sustainability of its aviation industry, but also strengthens its strategic independence. If successful, the PD-35 could become more than just an engine. It could symbolize Russia's resilience and determination to establish itself as a formidable force in aerospace, despite external pressures. A twin-engine, Il-9600M, equipped with this advanced power plant, might just be the breakthrough. Russia needs to reshape its presence in the global aviation industry. However, developing a new aircraft engine is no simple feat. It requires years of research, substantial investment, and rigorous testing. The goal is to bring the PD-35 into service by 2025, but this timeline is ambitious. Designing a high-thrust engine comes with a host of complex technical challenges, from optimizing thermal efficiency to ensuring durability under extreme conditions during long-haul flights. Furthermore, international certification remains a major hurdle, as the engine must meet stringent global safety and performance standards before it can be deployed commercially. But what if UEC and Aviad Vigatel succeed? First, a twin-engine Il-96 equipped with the PD-35 could become a game changer, opening doors to international markets. Airlines looking for alternatives to Western-built aircraft might find this model particularly appealing, especially in countries that maintain strong economic and political ties with Russia. The combination of modern design, improved fuel efficiency, and lower operational costs could create new opportunities in regions such as Asia, Africa, and Latin America, where airlines seek cost-effective long-haul solutions. Second, beyond the Il-9600M, the PD-35 has the potential to shape the future of Russian aerospace. This engine could serve as the foundation for the next generation of Russian wide-body aircraft, positioning the country as a more self-sufficient player in the global aviation industry. Additionally, its adaptability extends beyond passenger aviation. It could be modified for military transport aircraft or cargo freighters, significantly broadening its market potential. If successfully developed, the engine would not just power a single aircraft. It could become a symbol of Russia's technological resilience and ambition. In an industry where self-reliance is becoming